It is exactly 9:41 a.m. Welcome back. This is News and Views on Salam Media, and we're now going to be talking about the Nigerian election results, Nigeria elections 2023. Senior researcher at the Institute for Global Dialogue, Ashraf Patel, is joining us to unpack the Nigerian election results. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome, Ashraf. Nice to have you on the show.
Walaikum salam, Julie. Hope you well.
With your du'as, alhamdulillah. Let's get to the heart of the matter and unpack. Nigeria's third force candidate, Peter Obi, has won Lagos State, beating influential ruling party candidate Bola Tinubu on his home turf. We understand that this win, Obi's win, comes as a surprise, as the state is in fact a stronghold of Tinubu, who was expected to win the state. What happened here? What went wrong or what went right? Ashraf, over to you.
Yes, Julie, fascinating fault lines, fascinating election. I think the context to this election is that the votes are showing there is an anti-establishment push, a huge wave of discontent. And I think Peter Obi, the young labor unionist, represents the Labour Party, has made an impressive showing in the Nigerian election, noting that the incumbent party, Bola and Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, they represent the old two-horse race that has dominated Nigerian politics for 25 years since democracy. So this is a good boost for a kind of an alternative youth-based labor civil society movement that have made an impressive showing in this election.
We seem to be seeing the similar trend playing out all around the world, are we not, Ashraf? And also, political analyst Remi Adekoya said that Obi's win was the biggest shock of Tinubu's political career. Having said that, we do need to ask, were the elections free and fair?
Yeah, that's very interesting. You must know that, like the Kenyan election, it always goes to the wire, in a sense that African politics is very complicated because of the post-colonial and the colonial structures. A lot of the politics definitely is based, or voting patterns are based on urban-rural divides, religious divides, linguistic and cultural divides. Now, there will always be contestations around elections naturally. And it's very important that the Electoral Commission must maintain its integrity and accuracy in the vote counting. So far, there has been some challenges, and that's quite normal. But I think in this election, with the stakes being very, very high, perhaps the Electoral Commission may come under scrutiny, perhaps by the UN or the Commonwealth. So it is a big shock for the incumbent, purely because he comes from the entrenched business sector. He himself is a successful businessman, but he's very old, 70 years old. And I think that system, and the same with Atiku Abubakar from the other party, who was deputy president under President Obasanjo for many years. They come from established powerhouses. And Peter Obi is a disruptor and more dynamic. And I think he represents the wave of discontent with the system. You must remember that inflation is at an all-time high, food inflation, energy inflation and shortages are being quite high, despite Nigeria being the 8th largest producer of oil. So all of these has made the perfect headwinds for his impressive gains, and hopefully winning the state is a major step that the people have spoken.
So the analysts are suggesting that Obi's performance in Lagos is unlikely to translate across the country. Having said that, then what do we expect the final results to look like?
Yes, I think Nigeria is very complex. Remember, they have 26 states, and it is a federal system, meaning that, like the United States, you have the governors that are the power brokers in Nigerian politics, and that represents different industries, whether it be oil or agriculture or industrial sectors. And so there is a kind of industrial, big oil, agriculture power play within the system. All these gains come in the southeast, which is where the industrial areas are, which is where labor are much more organized, so that would suggest a high turnout there. Although the outlying regions, the north, have voted along traditional lines, and so all the traditional linguistic religious divides are quite prominent in Nigerian politics. But, to the credit, each party have always, each leading candidate has always talked about unity, bridging the cultural religious divide, which is quite prominent in Nigeria. And I think they have avoided the kind of conflict along ethnic religious lines as we've seen, for instance, in Kenya. So it is a bit of a better situation. But whoever wins, I think they would have to really get new economic policies as the first priority. One that is around inclusion, and how does the leading candidates really work on a new economic program. The number one crisis is the currency crisis, the high debt ratio. Nigeria may have to go through an IMF bailout, similar to Ghana. Ghana has gone through an IMF bailout. So there's huge costs on servicing debt, which is a common theme across Africa, including South Africa. And I think back to the 80s, where most of Africa has been hopelessly dependent on IMF and World Bank loans. With that model, Africa is unlikely to take an independent economic development pathway. And I think this is the theme of the elections we're beginning to see.
Okay, my final question then is, we understand that former Nigerian President Obasanjo has asked the Electoral Commission to repeat polls in locations that were disrupted by violence or where officials failed to show up, and even calling on current President Buhari to intervene. Do you think that would happen? And if it doesn't happen, he further suggests, Obasanjo obviously, that please let all elections that do not pass the credibility and transparency test to be cancelled. That's going to create mayhem, isn't it?
Look, it is again a power play by Obasanjo, who represents the power structures of the incumbent party, his party, where he was kind of leader for a long time. It's an interesting space of intervention. If the objective or intent is a free and fair count, then that could be positive. If it delays the process, it could create a mistrust amongst the population and voters. So it's a very interesting dynamic. Hopefully there will be mediation, and it's important that the Electoral Commission has the credibility, which currently they do have, but there are some question marks in some of the districts, which is normal, basically, in most African countries. Because the stakes are so high, you may get constitutional challenges, like we had in Kenya, where the candidates that lose can go to the Constitutional Court if they're not happy with the results of the Electoral Commission. So if you have constitutional democracy, we may use the highest court in the land to declare the election null and void, or the courts may rule. So it's an interesting dynamic. But at least the good news is there's new energy, a new party, a Labour Party. Civil society is making a strong showing, and overall that's good for democracy, because we need new economic and social models to emerge. The current system has not delivered, and most African nations are going through these tectonic shifts where the population or the populace are really not happy with the elite and the current status quo.
Ashraf Patel, Senior Researcher at the Institute for Global Dialogue. Always a pleasure talking with you and getting your deep insights into these political issues and matters. Thank you for being with us on the show. Look forward to future chats with you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks, Julie. Walaikum salam.
It is exactly 9:52. News and Views on Salam Media. Standing by to talk with us are the Qasim sisters, Iman and Alia. Alhamdulillah, they're going to talk about their amazing experience. They attended the Fencing Cadet and Junior Africa Championship 2023, and they're going to talk about that amazing experience. So please do stand by.